Hey there, and welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going to be tackling Good Strategy, Bad Strategy by Richard Rumelt.
Yeah, this is a book that I think a lot of people have heard of, maybe even started reading, but it can be a little bit dense.
It's definitely one of those books that you kind of want to not just read, but like really absorb.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
exactly.
you want those core principles of crafting a winning strategy to really sink in.
Right, and that's what we're going to try to help you do today, using a method that combines ancient memory techniques
Ooh.
with a little touch of modern neuroscience.
I like it. I like where this is going. Okay, so I'm intrigued. Lay it on me. What's the secret weapon?
Well, the secret weapon is something called a memory palace.
A memory palace.
Yeah, have you ever heard of that?
You know, I've heard the term. I think I've maybe even seen like a documentary about it once, but I'm not sure I could really explain it to someone.
Okay, so basically a memory palace is a powerful tool that you can use to remember anything. And we're going to use it today to help you remember the key insights from Good Strategy, Bad Strategy by Richard Rumelt.
Awesome.
So to give you a quick overview, imagine you're walking through a familiar place like your childhood home.
Okay.
Every nook and cranny, every room, every detail.
Yeah.
Now, let's say you want to remember a grocery list.
Okay.
Milk, eggs, bread, bananas. Instead of trying to repeat those words over and over in your head,
Right.
you mentally place vivid images of each item at specific locations within your home.
Okay, so I might picture like a giant carton of milk spilling over the entryway rug,
Yeah.
and then like a flock of chickens nesting in my living room.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And then maybe a loaf of bread balancing precariously on the staircase railing.
Uh-huh. And then like a monkey swinging from the chandelier with a bunch of bananas.
Precisely.
Okay.
The more bizarre or outlandish the image, the more memorable it will be.
That's awesome.
And that's the beauty of memory palaces.
Okay.
They tap into our brain's natural ability to remember spaces and visual details.
So it's like turning your mind into a virtual storage space for information.
Exactly.
That's so cool.
And then when you need to recall that grocery list, you simply take a mental stroll through your home.
Okay.
Revisiting each location and those vivid images, along with the items they represent, will come flooding back.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I can see how that would be so helpful for like remembering lists or speeches or anything really.
Absolutely. And it's a technique that's been used for centuries by memory champions and orators.
Wow.
And you know what's really cool is that modern neuroscience is actually starting to understand why this technique is so effective.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, so research suggests that certain brainwave states, particularly delta waves,
Okay, wait.
which are most prominent during deep relaxation or sleep,
Okay.
they're linked to enhanced memory consolidation.
So it's like when you're really relaxed, your brain is in a more receptive state, more like fertile ground, ready to absorb and retain new information.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So if we can combine this state of deep relaxation with the memory palace technique.
Okay. We're essentially creating the ideal conditions for imprinting those strategic concepts from Rumelt's book into our long-term memory.
So it's like we're hacking our brains to become super learners.
You got it.
Okay, I'm so on board with this.
Awesome.
So for our DC-based listener who wants to master good strategy, bad strategy, we're going to build a memory palace using locations in our nation's capital, right?
Absolutely. We'll take them on a mental tour of DC, and at each location we'll place a vivid image representing one of Rumelt's key insights.
I love it.
And to tap into those memory-enhancing delta brainwaves, we'll start with a brief relaxation exercise.
Okay.
So if you're ready, find a comfortable spot, close your eyes,
Take a deep breath in.
and as you exhale, let all the tension melt away from your muscles.
Notice the gentle rise and fall of your chest as you breathe.
Imagine a wave of relaxation washing over you from the top of your head to the tips of your toes.
Now picture yourself standing at the entrance to the White House.
Location number 1 in our memory palace.
Feel the cool marble beneath your fingertips. Hear the faint murmur of the crowds nearby.
Sense the weight of history all around you.
Next, imagine yourself strolling along the National Mall.
The sun warming your face.
Ahead of you, the towering Washington Monument pierces the sky.
Its reflection shimmers in the reflecting pool.
Our location number 2.
As you continue walking, you reach the Lincoln Memorial.
Feel a sense of awe as you stand before this grand monument.
Picture the imposing statue of President Lincoln gazing out over the city.
This is location number 3.
Now step inside the Lincoln Memorial.
Notice the inscription of the Gettysburg Address etched into the wall,
The words seem to resonate with the weight of history.
and the enduring power of human ideals.
This is location number 4.
Leaving the Lincoln Memorial, turn your attention to the World War II Memorial.
The cascading waters, the pillars representing each state,
The solemn atmosphere of remembrance.
all create a powerful sense of place.
This is location number 5.
Next, find yourself at the Jefferson Memorial.
Admire its neoclassical architecture,
The statue of Jefferson gazing out over the tidal basin.
the serene beauty of the surrounding cherry trees.
This is location number 6.
As you continue exploring, you arrive at the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial.
Feel the inspiration as you stand before the inscription of Dr. King's words.
His powerful message of equality and justice etched in stone.
This is location number 7.
Now imagine stepping into the vastness of the National Museum of American History.
Countless artifacts tell the story of America's past.
And a sense of wonder and discovery permeates the air.
This is location number 8.
Across the street, the National Museum of Natural History beckons.
Picture yourself greeted by the towering skeleton of a dinosaur.
A reminder of the immensity of time and the wonders of the natural world.
This is location number 9.
Continuing our journey, we arrive at the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum.
Location number 10.
Imagine awe-inspiring aircraft and spacecraft suspended from the ceiling.
A testament to human ingenuity and the boundless possibilities of exploration.
Now let's step into the serene Hirshhorn Museum and Sculpture Garden.
Our location number 11.
Envision yourself strolling through the garden, admiring the contemporary sculptures dotting the landscape.
The interplay of art and nature, creating a unique and captivating experience.
Next, we find ourselves at the National Gallery of Art.
Location number 12.
Imagine standing before a masterpiece lost in the brushstrokes and colors.
Transported to another time and place through the power of art.
Just a short walk away is the National Portrait Gallery.
Location number 13.
Envision yourself walking through the halls, gazing at the portraits of prominent Americans from throughout history.
Each face telling a story of achievement, resilience, and the enduring spirit of the nation.
Our journey now takes us to the United States Capitol building.
Location number 14.
Feel the grandeur as you stand before this iconic symbol of American democracy.
The dome reaching towards the sky.
A testament to the power and resilience of the nation.
Let's step inside the Capitol building and imagine ourselves standing in the rotunda.
Our location number 15.
Look up at the awe-inspiring dome.
The intricate paintings adorning the walls.
The sense of history and power emanating from every corner.
We now find ourselves in the National Statuary Hall.
Location number 16.
Surrounded by statues of prominent figures from each state.
A reminder of the diverse and rich tapestry of American history.
Next, we visit the Library of Congress.
Location number 17.
Imagine the vastness of the reading rooms.
The countless bookshelves stretching towards the ceiling.
The smell of old paper and the quiet hum of knowledge filling the air.
Leaving the Library of Congress, we make our way to the Supreme Court building.
Our location number 18.
Imagine standing before this majestic building.
The symbol of justice and the rule of law.
A reminder of the fundamental principles upon which American society is built.
Now picture the solemn atmosphere of the National Archives.
Location number 19.
As you stand before the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights.
The foundational documents of American freedom and liberty.
Let's step outside and take a stroll down Pennsylvania Avenue.
Location number 20.
Imagine the bustling energy of the city, the iconic buildings lining the street.
The sense of history and progress that defines Washington, D.C.
Our walk takes us to the International Spy Museum.
Location number 21.
Step inside and envision the world of espionage unfolding before you.
Secrets and intrigue lurking around every corner.
Next, let's visit the National Museum of the American Indian.
Location number 22.
Imagine immersing yourself in the rich cultures and histories of Native American tribes.
The vibrant art and artifacts telling stories of resilience, adaptation, and the enduring spirit of indigenous peoples.
Our journey continues to Ford's Theater.
Location number 23.
Feel the weight of history as you stand in the theater where President Lincoln was assassinated.
A poignant reminder of the fragility of democracy and the enduring power of hope.
We now arrive at the National Museum of African American History and Culture.
Location number 24.
Imagine stepping inside and being transported through the history of African Americans in the United States.
From the horrors of slavery to the triumphs of the civil rights movement.
A testament to the resilience and strength of the human spirit.
Leaving the museum, we make our way to the tidal basin.
Our location number 25.
Picture the serene beauty of the water,
The cherry trees in full bloom.
the Washington Monument and the Jefferson Memorial reflected in the calm surface.
Our exploration leads us to the National Zoo.
Location number 26.
Imagine walking through the exhibits.
observing the diverse array of animals from around the world.
The playful antics of pandas, the majestic stride of lions.
The fascinating adaptations of creatures great and small.
Let's continue to the United States Botanic Garden.
Location number 27.
Imagine stepping inside and being enveloped by the lush greenery.
The vibrant flowers, the fragrant aromas.
A tranquil oasis in the heart of the city.
We now head to Georgetown.
Our location number 28.
Picture the charming cobblestone streets.
The historic houses, the upscale shops and restaurants.
The vibrant energy of this historic neighborhood.
Strolling through Georgetown, we come to the old stone house.
Location number 29.
Imagine stepping inside this historic building.
The oldest structure in Washington, D.C.
A tangible link to the city's colonial past.
Our journey takes us to the Dumbarton Oaks Research Library and Collection.
Location number 30.
Picture yourself wandering through the beautiful gardens.
Admiring the Byzantine and pre-Columbian art.
The tranquil atmosphere inviting contemplation and reflection.
Next, we visit the National Cathedral.
Location number 31.
Feel the awe as you stand beneath the soaring arches.
The stained glass windows casting colorful patterns.
The serene atmosphere inspiring a sense of peace and reverence.
We now find ourselves at the Smithsonian American Art Museum.
Location number 32.
Imagine yourself walking through the galleries.
Surrounded by American art from various periods and styles.
From colonial portraits to modern masterpieces.
A testament to the creativity and diversity of American artists.
Just across the street is the Renwick Gallery.
Location number 33.
Picture yourself exploring the exhibits of contemporary craft and decorative arts.
The intricate details and innovative techniques showcasing the skill and artistry of American craftspeople.
Our exploration leads us to the National Building Museum.
Location number 34.
Imagine stepping inside and being transported through the history of American architecture and engineering.
The exhibits showcasing the innovative designs and structures that have shaped the nation's built environment.
Next, we visit the Woodrow Wilson House.
Location number 35.
Step inside this historic home.
The former residence of President Woodrow Wilson.
And imagine the furnishings and artifacts offering a glimpse into the life of this influential leader.
We arrive at the Frederick Douglass National Historic Site.
Location number 36.
Picture yourself standing in Douglass's home.
Surrounded by the objects that reflect his life and legacy as an abolitionist writer and orator.
A testament to his courage and his unwavering fight for equality.
Our journey continues to the National Museum of Women and the Arts.
Location number 37.
Imagine exploring the galleries dedicated to the works of women artists from around the world.
The paintings, sculptures, and other art forms showcasing the diversity and richness of women's artistic contributions.
Next, we find ourselves at the Phillips Collection.
Location number 38.
Imagine yourself wandering through the galleries.
Surrounded by impressionist and modern art.
The intimate setting allowing for close observation and contemplation of the works on display.
Now, picture yourself stepping inside the National Geographic Museum.
Location number 39.
Imagine being transported to different corners of the world through captivating photography.
Engaging exhibits and immersive experiences.
We step outside and take a stroll along the C&O Canal towpath.
Location number 40.
Imagine the tranquil beauty of the canal.
The historic towpath winding alongside.
The remnants of the industrial past blending with the natural landscape.
Our walk brings us to the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts.
Location number 41.
Imagine attending a performance in one of the center's grand theaters.
The music, dance, or theater captivating your senses.
The energy of the performers filling the air.
Our exploration leads us to the National Museum of the United States Army.
Location number 42.
Imagine yourself exploring the exhibits dedicated to the history of the U.S. Army.
The artifact stories and interactive displays offering a glimpse into the lives and sacrifices of American soldiers.
Next, we arrive at Arlington National Cemetery.
Location number 43.
Feel the solemn atmosphere as you stand among the rows of white headstones.
A powerful reminder of the sacrifices made by those who served in the United States Armed Forces.
We now stand before the tomb of the unknown soldier.
Location number 44.
Imagine the changing of the guard.
The precision and solemnity of the ceremony.
A tribute to the unidentified soldiers who gave their lives in service to the nation.
Our journey takes us to the Marine Corps War Memorial.
Location number 45.
Picture the iconic image of the flag raising at Iwo Jima.
The bronze sculpture capturing the heroism and sacrifice of American Marines.
We find ourselves at the Air Force Memorial.
Location number 46.
Imagine the soaring spires reaching towards the sky.
Symbolizing the courage and dedication of those who serve in the United States Air Force.
Our exploration leads us to the Pentagon.
Location number 47.
Picture the massive size of the building.
The symbol of American military might.
The bustling activity within its walls reflecting the complex operations of the Department of Defense.
Next, we visit Mount Vernon.
The historic estate of George Washington, our location number 48.
Imagine stepping back in time as you explore the mansion.
The outbuildings and the gardens.
The artifacts and stories offering a glimpse into the life of the nation's first president.
And finally, we end our journey at the National Mall once again.
Location number 49.
Imagine the vast expanse of green space, the monuments and memorials standing tall.
A testament to American history, democracy, and the enduring spirit of the nation.
We've now journeyed through 49 iconic locations in Washington, D.C.
Creating a solid foundation for your memory palace.
It's like we've built the walls and rooms.
But now we need to furnish it, right?
Exactly. And those furnishings are going to be the key concepts from Rumelt's Good Strategy, Bad Strategy.
Transformed into vivid, multi-sensory images.
Okay.
But before we start decorating,
Yeah.
let's take a moment to solidify these locations in your mind.
Great idea. Take a deep breath in.
And as you exhale, gently bring your awareness back to the present moment.
Feel the ground beneath your feet,
The chair supporting you.
the air on your skin.
You've just embarked on a mental journey.
And now we're ready to fill that mental space with strategic insights.
Let's dive in. Welcome back. Now that your DC Memory Palace is primed, let's start furnishing it with some strategic gems from Good Strategy, Bad Strategy. Rumelt introduces this really powerful concept he calls the kernel of good strategy. It's like the seed of any successful plan, and it has three essential components: a diagnosis, a guiding policy, and coherent action.
Okay, I like where this is going. A kernel. It's small, but potent, like the blueprint for a mighty oak tree.
Exactly.
So to cultivate a thriving strategy, we need to nurture these three elements. But how can we make this concept more tangible for our listener, especially within our memory palace?
Let's go back to location number 1, the entrance to the White House. Now picture this. A doctor, but not just any doctor. One sporting a Sherlock Holmes hat and magnifying glass, standing there intently examining a giant cracked walnut.
Okay, I'm seeing it. A doctor detective scrutinizing a broken nut. It's quirky, that's for sure.
Yeah,
But I have a feeling there's a method to this madness.
exactly. This offbeat image represents the first element of Rumelt's kernel diagnosis. Good strategy, like good detective work, begins with a clear-eyed assessment of the situation. It's about understanding the problem, the challenges, and the opportunities, just as a doctor diagnoses a patient before prescribing treatment.
So it's not about jumping into action without first taking the time to really understand the lay of the land.
Precisely, Rumelt argues that many bad strategies stem from a failure to properly diagnose the situation. It's like setting off on a journey without a map or a compass. You might end up lost and confused.
This brings to mind Rumelt's compelling example of General Schwarzkopf's strategy in Desert Storm, which we placed at location number 2, the reflecting pool. Remember how we envisioned a giant compass, its needle pointing decisively westward?
Yes, that compass perfectly embodies the second element of the kernel, the guiding policy Schwarzkopf, after carefully diagnosing Iraq's weaknesses and the coalition's strengths, formulated a clear policy use overwhelming force to swiftly defeat Iraq while minimizing Allied casualties. A good guiding policy like that unwavering compass provides direction and focus, aligning everyone's efforts toward a common goal.
It's about having a North Star, a guiding principle that helps you navigate the complexities of the situation and make difficult choices.
Absolutely. And it's important to note that a guiding policy is not simply a goal. It's a specific approach, a carefully crafted plan of action that takes into account the diagnosis and outlines how you'll achieve your objectives.
This reminds me of our image for coherent action, which we placed at location number 3, the Lincoln Memorial. Remember that perfectly synchronized swimming team we envisioned performing an intricate routine with flawless precision?
Yes.
Each movement in perfect harmony working together to create a unified spectacle.
Yes. That image vividly captures the essence of coherent action. It's about ensuring that all aspects of your strategy, your resources, your actions, your communications are aligned and working in concert to support your guiding policy. Just like that synchronized swimming team, everyone moves together with purpose and precision, creating a powerful force for achieving the desired outcome.
So let me see if I've got this right. The kernel of good strategy is like a three-legged stool. First, you need a solid diagnosis, a clear understanding of the challenge at hand. Then you need a guiding policy, a compass that points you in the right direction. And finally, you need coherent action, ensuring that all your efforts are aligned and working together to move you toward your destination.
That's a great way to put it. And Rumelt provides several fascinating examples of how these three elements work together to create successful strategies. Take Walmart, for instance, a company often lauded for its low prices and sprawling stores. We placed Walmart's strategic insights at location number 4, the World War II Memorial, where we imagine a massive, intricately designed puzzle coming together.
Right, and that puzzle represented how Walmart's seemingly simple formula of everyday low prices is actually the result of a deeply insightful strategy, with each piece carefully crafted to support the whole.
Exactly. Rumelt highlights that Walmart's success stemmed from their ability to accurately diagnose a key opportunity, serving smaller communities with wider product selections than local stores could offer. Their guiding policy was laser-focused on efficiency and cost control achieved through innovative logistics like computerized warehousing. And their actions from employee training to store layout were all meticulously designed to reinforce this efficiency-driven approach.
It's a reminder that good strategy isn't always flashy or glamorous. It's about making smart choices, leveraging your strengths, and focusing relentlessly on what matters most.
Absolutely. And speaking of focusing on what matters most, Rumelt dedicates a significant portion of his book to dissecting the pitfalls of bad strategy. One of the most common traps, he argues, is setting vague, uninspiring goals, what he calls fluffy rhetoric, masking a lack of substance. We place this concept at location number 5, the Jefferson Memorial. Remember what we envisioned there.
How could I forget? A giant rubber duck wearing a crown and perched on the steps of the Jefferson Memorial, quacking loudly about achieving your dreams as a bored crowd looks on. It's hilarious, but also incredibly insightful.
Exactly. That image perfectly captures the absurdity of setting goals that are all sizzle and no steak. It's like that motivational poster you see in offices everywhere. Believe in yourself and you can achieve anything. While a positive mindset is important, good strategy is not about wishful thinking or vague aspirations. It's about making tough choices, developing concrete plans, and taking decisive action.
So it's not enough to simply set a goal like, I want to be successful. You need to define what success means, to develop a specific plan for achieving it, and then put in the work.
Precisely. And that leads us to another crucial element of good strategy, which Rumelt highlights through the example of Intel's dramatic pivot away from memory chips to focus on microprocessors. We place this concept of embracing change at location number 6, the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial, where we imagined a chameleon perched on Dr. King's shoulder.
Right, and that chameleon seamlessly blending in with its surroundings perfectly embodies the need for adaptation and flexibility in good strategy.
Exactly. Intel, once a dominant player in the memory chip market, faced a difficult reality. Japanese competitors were rapidly gaining ground, and Intel's core business was under threat. Andy Grove, Intel's CEO at the time, made the painful but necessary decision to abandon memory chips and focus on the emerging market for microprocessors. It was a risky move, but one that ultimately saved the company and propelled it to new heights.
It's a powerful reminder that good strategy is not about clinging to the past or being afraid to make difficult choices. It's about constantly evaluating the landscape, anticipating change, and being willing to adapt your plans accordingly.
Precisely. And this brings us to another key insight from Rumelt, the concept of leveraging your competitive advantage. We place this concept at location number 7, the National Museum of American History, where we envisioned a tiny mouse strategically positioned on a giant seesaw launching a massive elephant into the air.
That image is a classic David and Goliath scenario, highlighting how good strategy can magnify your impact even when you're facing seemingly insurmountable odds. It's not about brute force. It's about finding those strategic pressure points that can multiply your efforts and create outsized results.
Exactly. Rumelt emphasizes that a well-crafted guiding policy can create a significant competitive advantage. It allows you to anticipate your rivals' moves, outmaneuver them, and concentrate your resources where they'll have the greatest impact. He uses the fascinating example of judo to illustrate this principle. Judo is about leveraging your opponent's strength against them, finding those points of vulnerability that can turn a disadvantageous situation into a winning move.
So it's not always about being bigger or stronger. It's about being smarter, more strategic, and leveraging your strengths to achieve your goals.
Absolutely. And this idea of leverage ties in nicely with another important concept. Rumelt introduces the power of setting proximate objectives. We place this concept at location number 8, the National Museum of Natural History, where we envision a mountain climber scaling Mount Everest, but focusing intently on each handhold, each step, rather than being overwhelmed by the sheer size of the mountain.
Right. It's about breaking down a seemingly insurmountable task into manageable chunks, focusing on what's immediately in front of you and making steady progress toward the summit.
Precisely. Proximate objectives are those clear, achievable milestones that help you stay on track and maintain momentum. Rumelt argues that good strategy is not about trying to do everything at once. It's about identifying the most critical steps, sequencing them effectively, and then focusing your efforts on achieving each one in turn.
So it's about having a roadmap, breaking down the journey into manageable stages, and celebrating those small wins along the way. This reminds me of something we discussed during our prep, a concept from Atomic Habits by James Clear that really resonated with me in light of Rumelt's emphasis on coherent action.
I'm intrigued. What's the connection you're seeing?
Well, Clear talks about this idea called habit stacking, which is essentially about linking a new habit you want to form to an existing habit you already do regularly. It's like creating a chain reaction of positive behaviors. For example, if you want to start meditating every morning, you might stack it onto your existing habit of brushing your teeth. So after you brush your teeth, you meditate for 5 minutes.
Ah, I see where you're going with this. It's about building systems that make it easier to implement the actions needed to achieve your strategic goals. It's not just about willpower or grand pronouncements. It's about creating those daily routines that over time lead to significant change.
Exactly. And it struck me that this aligns perfectly with Rumelt's idea of coherent action. If you want to achieve a strategic goal, you need to break it down into concrete actions and then find ways to make those actions habitual, almost automatic. It's like building those dominoes one by one so that when you tip the first one, the rest fall into place effortlessly.
That's a brilliant insight. And we could even add habit stacking to our memory palace, perhaps at location number 9, the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum.
Love it. And to represent habit stacking, let's imagine a line of dominoes, perfectly aligned and stretching across the entire museum, each domino poised to topple the next one in a chain reaction, just like those carefully orchestrated actions that propel a spacecraft into orbit.
Perfect, because that's exactly how habit stacking works. You set up a series of small actions, each one triggering the next, creating momentum, and making it easier to maintain those positive behaviors over time.
It's like building a launch pad for those coherent actions Rumelt talks about.
Precisely. And just like with launching a spacecraft, success depends on careful planning, meticulous execution, and a system that ensures every component works in harmony.
Okay, so we've woven atomic habits into our strategic tapestry linking habit stacking to Rumelt's concept of coherent action. What other insights can we draw from our source material to further enrich our understanding of good strategy, bad strategy?
Well, something that stood out to me from observability engineering was this idea of embracing a mindset of continuous learning and questioning assumptions, especially when dealing with complex systems.
I remember that. It really resonated with Rumelt's warning about the dangers of relying on outdated rules of thumb or clinging to assumptions that no longer hold true in a changing environment. It's like driving a car by looking only in the rearview mirror. You might end up crashing into something you didn't see coming.
Right. In observability engineering, they talk about how traditional approaches to monitoring and debugging software systems can break down when you're dealing with the complexity of modern distributed architectures. You need new tools and, more importantly, a new way of thinking to effectively diagnose and solve problems.
It's like Rumelt's point about the importance of constantly reevaluating your diagnosis, right? What worked in the past might not work in the present, and what seems obvious might actually be based on faulty assumptions.
Exactly. We could even add this concept of questioning assumptions to our memory palace, perhaps at location number 10, the Hirshhorn Museum and Sculpture Garden.
I like it. And to represent this, we could imagine those thought-provoking sculptures constantly morphing and shifting, challenging our perceptions and forcing us to question what we think we know. It's like those optical illusions that trick your eyes into seeing something that isn't really there.
Right. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what we need to do as strategists and problem solvers. We need to be willing to challenge our own biases, to look at things from multiple perspectives, and to constantly seek out new information that might invalidate our existing beliefs.
Okay, so we've added habit stacking and questioning assumptions to our memory palace. Any other insights we want to highlight before we wrap up this part of our deep dive?
Well, something that resonated with me from staff engineer was the emphasis on the importance of clear communication and building consensus, especially when you're trying to influence decision-making at higher levels of an organization.
I remember that they talked about the challenges of presenting to executives the need to distill complex technical information into clear, concise arguments and the skill of navigating organizational politics to get your ideas heard and implemented. It's like trying to explain quantum physics to a group of kindergartners. You need to find a way to make it understandable and engaging.
Exactly. And that aligns so well with Rumelt's emphasis on crafting a good strategic narrative, a story that can rally people around a shared vision and inspire them to take action. It's not just about having a brilliant strategy in your head. It's about being able to communicate it effectively, to persuade others of its merits, and to build buy-in across the organization.
Right. It's not enough to be a brilliant strategist. You also need to be a skilled communicator, storyteller, who can connect with your audience and inspire them to embrace your vision. Where do you think we should place this concept in our memory palace?
Let's put effective communication at location number 11, the National Gallery of Art.
Perfect. And to represent this, let's imagine a captivating orator standing in the center of the gallery, eloquently weaving a story that captivates the entire audience, their words resonating with clarity and conviction. It's like those master storytellers who can transport you to another world with their words, leaving you hanging on their every syllable.
That's a powerful image because it captures the essence of effective communication, the ability to connect with your audience, to convey complex ideas in a way that is both understandable and compelling, and to inspire action.
So far, we've explored Rumelt's kernel of good strategy, delved into the pitfalls of bad strategy, highlighted the need for change and adaptability, and emphasized the power of competitive advantage, anticipation, leverage, and setting proximate objectives. We've also woven in insights from other books connecting atomic habits, observability engineering, and staff engineer to Rumelt's core principles.
That's right. And we've only just begun to furnish our DC memory palace. But for now, let's shift gears a bit and explore some other fascinating concepts from Rumelt's book and our curated sources.
Sounds good to me. I'm eager to see what other strategic treasures await us in this DC memory palace. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground already, exploring those fundamental elements of what makes a strategy truly effective. But as we journey through Rumelt's good strategy, bad strategy, there's another crucial aspect he emphasizes that I think deserves our attention. It's this idea of understanding the dynamics of competition.
Yeah. Competition is this force that shapes every strategic decision we make. Whether we're talking about businesses vying for market share or political campaigns vying for votes, understanding how competition works is essential for crafting a winning strategy.
Absolutely. And Rumelt provides some really interesting frameworks for thinking about competition. He talks about, the different types of competitive advantage you can have, like cost advantage, differentiation advantage, and focus advantage.
Right. And he also introduces this concept of arena, which refers to the specific market or battleground where competition takes place. And he argues that it's crucial to define your arena carefully because choosing the right battlefield can be just as important as having a superior strategy.
This reminds me of our memory palace,
Yeah.
where we've carefully selected these locations in Washington, D.C. to represent key concepts. Perhaps we can find a fitting spot to embody this idea of arena.
Absolutely. Let's place this concept at location number 12, the United States Capitol Building.
Perfect. Because the Capitol building is literally a place where you have these different political factions competing for power and influence. It's literally an arena for political battles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to represent this idea of arena, let's imagine a grand chessboard laid out on the floor of the Capitol Rotunda, with each piece representing a different player in the competitive landscape.
I love that image.
Yeah.
It captures the strategic nature of competition, the importance of positioning, and the constant jockeying for advantage.
Precisely. And just like in chess, each move you make has consequences and can influence the outcome of the game.
This makes me think of another key point Rumelt makes about competition, this idea that rivals are not always predictable.
Right.
He cautions against assuming that your competitors will behave rationally or make the moves you expect them to.
Right. He emphasizes the importance of being prepared for surprises and being able to adapt your strategy accordingly. It's like playing poker. You can't always predict what cards your opponents are holding or how they'll play their hand.
So it's about being flexible and agile, constantly monitoring the competitive landscape, and being ready to adjust your strategy as needed.
Precisely. And to represent this idea of unpredictable rivals, let's place it at location number 13, the National Museum of Natural History.
Okay, and to make this concept even more memorable, let's imagine a T-Rex skeleton suddenly coming to life and chasing a group of unsuspecting tourists through the museum halls.
Oh, I like that.
It's unexpected, chaotic, and a little bit terrifying, just like the unpredictable nature of competition.
I love it. That image perfectly captures the idea that competition can be a wild ride full of surprises and challenges.
So we've explored the importance of understanding competition, defining your arena, and being prepared for unpredictable rivals. But as we delve deeper into good strategy, bad strategy, there's another crucial aspect that emerges. It's the human element, the role that people play in shaping and executing strategy.
Yes, Rumelt emphasizes that good strategy is not just about having a brilliant plan on paper. It's about inspiring people to believe in that plan and to work together to make it a reality.
It's about leadership, communication, motivation, and culture, all these factors that play such a crucial role in driving successful strategy execution.
Right, and he also highlights the dangers of what he calls bad proximate objectives, which can really demotivate people and derail even the best laid plans.
This reminds me of something we touched on earlier, the importance of setting clear, achievable goals that align with your overall strategy.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot between setting ambitious goals that inspire people to stretch and grow, and setting realistic goals that can be achieved with reasonable effort.
And to capture this idea of finding the right balance in setting goals, let's place this concept at location number 14, the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum.
Okay, and to represent this balance, let's imagine a group of astronauts training for a mission to Mars. They're pushing themselves to the limit physically and mentally, but they're also supported by a team of experts and equipped with the latest technology. It's a powerful image of ambition and realism working together to achieve something extraordinary.
That's a great image. It captures the spirit of pushing boundaries while also acknowledging the importance of careful planning and execution.
Precisely. And it highlights the importance of the human element in strategy. It's
Yeah.
not just about numbers and data. It's about people, their skills, their motivation, and their ability to work together to achieve a common goal.
So we've explored the dynamics of competition, the importance of understanding your rivals, and the crucial role that people play in strategy execution. But as we continue our journey through good strategy, bad strategy, there's one final concept that stands out as particularly important. It's the idea of focus.
Yes, Rumelt argues that focus is one of the most powerful tools in the strategist's arsenal.
It's like that old saying, inch wide, mile deep.
Exactly. He says that a good strategy works by focusing energy and resources on one or a very few pivotal objectives.
It's about saying no to distractions and opportunities that don't align with your core goals and pouring all your energy into those areas where you can make the biggest impact.
Precisely. He uses the analogy of a magnifying glass focusing the sun's rays to create a powerful beam of light that can ignite a fire. Similarly, a good strategy concentrates your efforts on those areas where you can create the most value.
And where do you think we should place this concept of focus in our memory palace?
Let's put it at location number 15, the Library of Congress.
Perfect, because the Library of Congress is this incredible repository of knowledge, a place where information is collected and organized. It's a symbol of the power of focus and the importance of filtering out noise to find the information that truly matters.
Exactly. And to represent this concept of focus, let's imagine a single beam of light shining down from the ceiling of the library's main reading room, illuminating a single book on a vast bookshelf.
That's a powerful image. It conveys the idea of cutting through the clutter and zeroing in on what's most important.
Precisely. And it highlights the importance of being selective in your strategic choices. You can't do everything, so you need to focus on those areas where you can make the biggest difference.
So there you have it, listeners. We've explored the core principles of Richard Rumelt's good strategy, bad strategy, building a memory palace in Washington, D.C. to help you internalize these powerful insights. And the beauty of this memory palace technique is that it's not a one-time event. The more you revisit it, the more you mentally walk through those locations and engage with those vivid images, the more deeply those strategic concepts will become embedded in your mind.
It's like having a mental toolbox filled with strategic frameworks and insights ready to be applied whenever you face a challenge, make a decision, or want to create a plan for success.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And remember, as you continue your own explorations into the world of strategy, you can always add new concepts and images to your memory palace, expanding its reach and deepening your understanding.
So keep building, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep strategizing.
Until next time, keep